Alrighty, so I just finished watching the replay of the MLS All Star game between Arsenal because yesterday I was actually out all day and I couldn't watch this live. And I actually wish I didn't watch the replay of this game because my goodness, this was bad. Like, unless you're an Arsenal fan, I don't think anybody enjoyed watching this MLS All Star game at all. And in fact, I would even go down and say that this is probably the worst All Star game I've ever watched since I started watching every All Star game since 2014. And I hope this might be a game, might be used as a way for MLS to potentially change the format again because it is pretty clear that this is not working in terms of trying to make the MLS All Star game a relevant game. And I know that MLS is trying to have these kind of game where all these best player play in an all-star team face against these European powerhouse, thinking that of course will maybe get the casual fans to actually watch this one and maybe show some interest in MLS. Which, if that is the case, after this one, that is a total failure because I don't think any casual fans would be actually wanted to see their local MLS team or even root for MLS after they just got absolutely destroyed by Arsenal in this one. And especially in the second half, if you actually turn off the TV in the second half, I don't blame you whatsoever because that second half, just to show you that it's pretty clear that the players on this All Star team just didn't care. Like they didn't care. They just there for the experience and they just kind of want to get this one over with. And I don't blame them because knowing the fact that the Leeds Cup tournament is going to be happening in a couple of days and these players have to go back with their club to play that tournament and then for the rest of the MLS regular season. Why would you want to spend your energy and really spend your effort in a game that is already all set and done? But first of all, let's talk about the starting 11. So we got Roman Berkey from St. Louis. That's the starting goalkeeper, followed by Ryan Hollinshead from LAFC, Jacob Glesnes from the Philadelphia Union, Walker Zimmerman from Nashville SC, Alvaro Barria for FC Cincinnati, Ricky Puig from LA Galaxy, Jose Martinez from the Philadelphia Union, Hani Mukhtar from Nashville SC, Denise Bawanga from LAFC, Christian Benteke from DC United, and Lucho Acosta from FC Cincinnati. So in terms of the representative, we got two LAFC player, two Nashville player, two Philadelphia Union player, and two FC Cincinnati player, and one St. Louis player. So yeah, in terms of a variety of players, in terms of teams, I mean there are definitely some variety, but there's a couple of players that are basically playing on the same team, and I guess maybe that's just used in terms of Wayne Rooney thinking that will create some chemistry. I mean, that's always been a problem in terms of these MLS All Star game where the chemistry level is not going to be there. Like with these players never play with each other ever, it's going to be a huge issue. Though I will say that out of the numerous of batches of players that play in this one because there would be wholesale changes in the 30th halftime and also around the 60th minute. This batch of players were probably the best group out of all of those that play in this game against Arsenal. Now, in the first half, there was definitely a lot of Arsenal fans, and this is also one of the criticism of why I don't like when we see an MLS All-Star game facing against a European powerhouse. I mean, Arsenal, we know that this is a team that has a huge fan base, and not to mention after what happened last year when they came so close of winning the Premier League, there's going to be a lot of fans that's going to be in the stadium, and I think there was probably three-quarter of those that was at Audi Field that was actually Arsenal fans. And in fact, during the broadcast, Apple TV, you can clearly see that they didn't care about just MLS fans actually go watching this game. They would keep showing Arsenal fans in the stands, and that just kind of shows you that, yeah, for an MLS All Star game, I don't think you should just solely focus on the opposition, and that you maybe need to think about also think about showing, like, I think that when they had like the supporter cam during the near the beginning of the second half, they only show Arsenal fans, which is like, well, yeah, is this an MLS All Star game or is this just an Arsenal preseason game? Because of the way that they kind of broadcast it, kind of feel like it was a preseason game for Arsenal rather than they really showcase some of the best player in the league that is representing the MLS All Star. But yeah, nevertheless, again, the reason why I don't like this is because an MLS All Star game you should have a large amount of fans from every MLS fan base that would reunite and root for their MLS All Star team, not just have the whole stadium dominated by the other other team, and that you can really hear that the Arsenal chant. It was very loud on the broadcast. Now, in the third minute of this game, the first shot of the game, see Barriel shot that was blocked away for the corner. As I thought MLS was on the front foot early in this one, though Arsenal does get the opening goal in this one. It's Gabriel Jesus scoring here to give Arsenal a 1-0 lead. It was a lovely chip here from Gabriel Jesus. You know how much quality that has, and that he basically dinked that one in over Berkey's head. I mean, that's something you don't usually see Roman Berkey get beat that easily, but yeah, Jesus was able to beat him there on that lovely chip. It nicked the post and goes in. And yeah, it was 1-0 in favor of Arsenal. Though I thought it was also a fast start as both of these teams were looking to play very direct and both defense was kind of on its heels a little bit. Then also I thought there was a lot of yellows in this game as there was already the three players that was in the referee books inside the first 20 minutes. Now, the referee of this game was Ted Unco, and if you know anything about Ted Unco, he is a referee that is very disliked in MLS. And I know pro referees are always being disliked, but he's definitely one of those one that it sticks out as a referee that everybody knows by name. And when you're a referee that knows by name in an infamous way like Ted Uncle, that usually is not a good thing. And yeah, I think he actually reached the record in terms of the most amount of yellow cards we'd seen in a game. There was like 6 yellow cards that was shown in this game in total, which I mean that's a lot for an MLS All Star game and for an exhibition. But nevertheless, in the 23rd minute, Arsenal double their lead. It's Trussa. He scored from Saka to make it 2-0 in favor of Arsenal. And up to this point, this is when Arsenal started to dictate possession. And MLS was having trouble in terms of really going for the attack. They were just getting pinned deep. Jesus tried to get his second one, but he heads it wide despite being wide open in the back post. The first shot of the game for MLS did see Ramsdale denying Holland's head in the front post. We didn't get a hydration break because they did mention the weather was like 89 degrees with humidity. So yeah, obviously when you have that happen, you're going to have a hydration break. And I also think this is the reason why this game kicked off at 8:30. I mean, I know some people will say that maybe this game kicked off a little bit late, but there's a reason because yeah, you're not gonna have an all-star game playing in that weather fall in the sun. They actually got it right in the end to have this one kicked off right after sunset. But after the hydration break, we do see the first big line change in the next batch of players that was coming into this MLS All Star team because you know in an MLS All Star game you're gonna have everybody that is gonna be able to participate in this one. So we saw Bawanga, Benteke, Puig, Mukhtar, and Martinez getting subbed off in this one. Oh, and also Roman Berkey was subbed in. Or subbed off in this one, and replacing him was Tyler Miller, and that was probably the loudest uh, standing ovation that I've heard that are not from Arsenal player. I mean, pretty much the loudest ovation of players that was coming on in this one were from the Arsenal fan, especially when Declan Rice actually came on to this game. That was probably the loudest ovation that I've heard Arsenal fan gave to their player, and for good reason because that technically was his debut for Arsenal after signing £105 million to join the team from West Ham. But yeah, again, in terms of MLS and seeing their players coming in, Tyler Miller getting the loudest ovation because there were a lot of DC United fans that attended this game that are not Arsenal fan in general. But besides Miller, we also saw Espinoza, Fiera, Gio, Amada, Morris being subbed in this one, and this is Aiden Morris that, of course, is subbed in this game. The 37th minute, Amada puts it just wide from the free kick. I mean, yeah, you know, I thought when that free kick was about to be taken, Thiago Amada was going to show what why he is probably the best free kick taker in the league, but that one wasn't as close as what we've seen some of the free kicks that he's been taking. I mean, to be fair, when you look at the performance of some of these players, it just kind of feel like they was just there having fun and just kind of take it easy instead of actually taking it really seriously because some of the quality that we showed from some of these players definitely was not there compared to what we see when they're playing with their club level. But in the 39th minute, Heelwood puts it high as the flag went up, and then Trussa just puts it wide on the free kick. That one did not miss by much. And then Gabriel puts it high from close range of the 6 minute stoppage time, and we do head to halftime with Arsenal leading 2-0. Now heading into the second half, we see the next matchup player. In fact, this is now pretty much a new starting 11 because the remaining player that was not subbed off in the first 30 minutes was subbed off in this one. So guys like Zimmerman, Marial, Acosta, Hollinshead, and Ness all subbed off in this one. And then replacing them is Tim Parker, John Token, Zarian, Gallagher, and also Miazga being subbed in into this one. And I wrote subbed off in this one. It's actually subbed in. That was a bit of a mistake on my part. But that next batch of players didn't really get off to a good start. In fact, if you're Tim Parker, you probably got off to the worst start possible coming into an All-Star game because literally 1 minute into this one, and actually not even 1 minute, but 12 seconds into to the second half, penalty was given to Arsenal as Parker handballed that one in the box. I mean, it was pretty obvious that he balled that one, and then Jorginho basically stepped up to take the penalty, and he slots it home to make it 3-0 in favor of Arsenal. Jorginho, penalty kick routine really reminds me of Joseph Martinez a couple of years ago. Remember how Joseph Martinez usually he does the skippy hop and basically baits the keeper and then slots it coolly on the other end. Now, obviously, Joseph Martinez don't do it anymore because teams are starting to figure things out. That is not the case with Jorginho. He's probably the best in terms of trying to do that skippy hop and trying to catch the keeper either commit one way or just getting them completely freeze. And that time, Jorginho with that skippy hop completely freeze Miller. And yeah, I mean Miller just had no chance in terms of saving that one. And yeah, that made it 3-0. And this is where again, if you turn off the TV at this point, I would not blame you whatsoever because for the rest of this game, yeah, I kind of start to stop taking notes and kind of start to not pay too much attention to this one too because it was pretty clear that it was all over and the players that were still playing in this one they were just there just to have fun and just enjoying the moment rather than thinking about really taking it seriously and trying to get one back and give at least some of the fans that actually were rooting for the MLS All Star to actually they get them something to cheer about. As I said, it's been all Arsenal. They have dominated the possession. The MLS All Star was pinned deep, and then in the 62nd minute, just for the sake of entertainment, we have a VAR decision to make because again, in an MLS All Star game, just a reminder, there was VAR, though it's not used very often, and I think it's just to make it for people to actually pay attention. They decided to go to VAR to see if Miazga did handball that one in the box. Now VAR says no, but when you look on the replay, it was pretty clear that he handballed that one. And I think this is also probably the most MLS All Star game kind of event possible that we have a botch VAR call. Like we have seen so many botch called this season, so why not have one in the MLS All Star just to kind of represent how bad sometimes VAR is in this league. I mean, again, the only thing that I can think of why that's not a handball was that the ball went out of play when Miazga handballed that one, but the ball didn't go out of play. Like I look at it a couple of times, it clearly did not cross the byline, and that yeah, that should have been a penalty for Arsenal. But I guess this is a showcase to the rest of the world that yeah, VAR in MLS is not not good at all, and it's just as bad as what we see in some of the VAR usage in some of the other leagues, and even in some of the Big Five European league, that is. In the 69th minute, we saw the last full line change as Miller, Hio, Ferreira, Aiden Morez, Amada, and Espinoza was subbed off, and then Petrovic, Yakimakis, Kamara, Jordan Morez, Schreinier, and Herrera was subbed into this one for the MLS All Star. And again, just like the last batch of players, these kind of players, they didn't really care. They were just there for the moment. And you can kind of tell too in the 72nd minute when we actually had a mid-game interview, and I think this is only the only mid-game interview we had. I thought that they would have more in this MLS All-Star game. I mean, I'm never a fan of mid-game interview, especially during a soccer game, but if there is a time to do so, this would be definitely the time to do so. So, Juliet Sakovic, and this was kind of funny where he interviewed Tyler Miller, and the first thing she said was they're down 3-0, but it's not over. And I may wrote law in all caps there because, yeah, nice try, Julian Sakovic, in terms of trying to build up drama. Everybody knows, watching this one knows that this is over. And you can even Here that Tyler Miller, he was basically talking more about how he's enjoying the moment and that he's impressed in terms of how Arsenal has played rather than talking about his actual team and the performance. That is pretty much a sign that clearly these players don't care in terms of the result of this game, and they're just kind of there having fun and just being casual. And then again, I don't blame them whatsoever, because the last thing you want in this game is to get injured, and knowing the fact that you have to play for your team in Leagues Cup in a couple of days, you don't want to spend that much energy in this one, and basically you have just too much focus on this game rather than what is actually the actual focus and what your respective club wants you to be, which is focus on the next competitive game. In the 84th minute, or actually in the 78th minute, as I skip a little bit too far ahead, Martinelli would puts it high from long range. It seemed this MLS All Star team has kind of packed their bags. They completely checked out. It's basically an Arsenal training session, and they would score a couple of goals in this Arsenal training session as Martinelli would score from Odegaard to make it 4-0 in favor of Arsenal. This is why Martin Odegaard is going to be considered one of the best midfield in the world in the future, if not the best midfield in the future. I mean, he puts this one on a plate for Martinelli from long range. I mean, that is something that is just textbook book kind of pass. Something that I think in this league itself, I think maybe certain players that can play that ball. I think Carlos Gil have done it before. I know Reynoso has done it once when he play through Timu Puki in that game against Houston. But yeah, this was just a dime that Odegaard put Martinelli through, and yeah, that made it 4-0. Zarian did hit one right to Ramsdale. They said that was the first shot on goal for MLS team. I didn't believe that, because I just told you that the first shot on goal came in the 31st minute when Ramsdale denied Halt's head in the front. Also, they probably forgot that of course was the case. In fact, the people that put the stats, they said that was the only shots on goal, which again, I don't believe it, because the one that I look back in the 31st minute, I thought that counted as a shots on goal. So even the people that makes the stats are kind of just there to enjoy the moment rather than actually keeping up with the actual stats of this game. But nevertheless, in the 89th minute, Havertz would score for Marquinhos to make it 5-0 in favor of Arsenal. What's kind of ironic about that goal is that he scored that one off of the volley, which is something that he just couldn't do in the MLS All Star Skill Challenge. Like doing the MLS All Star Challenge, he unfortunately got the infamous honor of being the only players to never score for a goal from that MLS All Star Skill Challenge, where you have to chest the ball down. It basically hits it on the volley, and it's kind of weird that in this game he was able to do it, and in the All Star Skills Challenge, he couldn't do it. I mean, I guess maybe that's kind of the case where sometime in a game it's just kind of instant, whereas if you're in a skill challenge, you're just kind of more focused on just kind of having fun and not take it too serious and so forth. But nevertheless, that made it 5-0, and after that, I just kind of stopped taking notes. I mean, there was a couple of more chances for Arsenal that happened, but it was pretty obvious that this game was just all Arsenal. It was a training session for them to prep for the preseason. And yeah, in the end, it was a 5-0 victory that Arsenal has against MLS. Shots in this one, 16 shots for the 7 that MLS had, 1 shots on goal for the 5 that Arsenal has, 3 shots off target for the 8 that Arsenal has. Both teams had 3 shot that was blocked in possession wise, 56% possession compared to 44% possession that MLS All Star has in this one. And also watching this game just makes me feel so much happier that I actually attended the MLS All Star game last year in Minnesota instead of this one, because I actually had more fun last year, and I actually saw the players actually took it much seriously compared to what we've seen this time. And I also want to send my condolences to anybody that was actually rooting for the MLS All Star in this one and have to pay a huge amount of money to actually attend this one, because it was not cheap to attend this one. Like tickets were around $200 or $250 just to get in to the stadium. It's like at least 3 or 4 times more expensive than last year when the MLS All Star game was in Minnesota. But yeah, I think this is like I said before, this is an example for MLS to really start thinking about changing the format away from this, because this is clearly not the way to get the MLS All Star game relevant. I mean, this is kind of the way that is the reason why the MLS All Star game started to lose its equivalency and why people even question that we should have an MLS All Star game in the first place if it's just kind of like this where players don't really care and they get absolutely stomped by a European powerhouse. And also, not to mention, this could be used as a good example for all those Euro stuff that say, huh, MLS is definitely not a serious league if they get absolutely destroyed by a European powerhouse, even though there's a lot of argument of why that is the case. I mean, when you have a team that are featuring players that never play against each other, and the starting 11 pretty much, or the players on the pitch are kind of changing every 30 minutes. I mean, it's no surprise that they're going to get absolutely stopped like this. But the bottom line is, I really think they need to change the format. Either go back to MLS All Star versus Liga MX All Star like what we've seen before, or just go what I think they should have done in the first place. They should have gone with the East versus West format, and I think this was a great opportunity to do so because knowing the fact that this game is happening in DC, a place that has a lot of good soccer memories, some historic moment, especially for DC United. This would be a great way for them to throw back and bring back the East versus West format, and we'll see whether or not if that's going to be the case, especially next year when they do host it in Columbus, another place that have a good soccer heritage. It will be a great way for them to bring back that format rather than see this kind of format where MLS All Star team is just going to get absolutely or absolutely thrashed by a European powerhouse. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys like, smash the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below what do you think of this game. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're probably thinking that this was just an absolute gong show, and probably this is something that the league shouldn't do ever again, which I totally agree with you. But let me know still in the comments below what do you think of this game. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys like, smash the subscribe button. And yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.